All right, we are live. So weekends, I'm going to do 7 a.m. on my time. So it's an hour later than my time. Hold on. That's why the mic's happy. There. Okay. Mic's on. Hopefully the mic's working. Okay, so yes, I am going to hour later on the weekends for the weekends, hour later, weekdays, I don't know, 6 o'clock. Yeah, otherwise I can't get up. Trying the mic like this. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah, like, give me a, no, not that I'm desperate. Not that I'll admit how desperate I am for the likes and subscriptions and that. But I mean, the question is, what are you liking for your content? In the end, what we like rises and falls. What you like, it stays for longer. It should be that way anyways. There is no dictatorship. Not in America. We're going to make sure. I don't know, like, different forms of government. If we look at different forms of government, if we look at democracy, Republicans, the republics, which is democracy, and if you look at hierarchy, patriarchy, hierarchy isn't really hierarchy, monarchy, patriarchy, hierarchy, it's anarchy. I border on a heavy anarchy over communism or any of the other stuff. Literally, to me, it doesn't make sense to have the power shift to one person or to one group of people used and abused. I mean, but to have a government fraction, but then you also have to understand that that would only work under certain conditions, just like they wouldn't think that democracy over such a large population would work. So America tried it out. This is the way you should do government is democracy. Everybody should vote. I mean, for a pirate, that's great. You got one ship, that works. But when you got a fleet of ships, getting everybody to vote your way, corruption kind of just like levers. And it's not that democracy shouldn't work. And, communism and capitalist. The last president was pretty much leaning towards dictatorship. And the president before that was a capitalist. Our founding fathers were pirates. Free trade. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Yes, I am a hippie. My daughter's a hippie too. She goes, "What's a hippie?" I go, "You are." She goes, "That doesn't tell me what it is." I said, "You are. You're definitely a hippie." So I just love driving down the road and going, "Mom, we need trees. Trees help us breathe." Yes. Her dad, when she was born, mind you, parents change their mind. If you are a kid, understand parents change their minds. So before she was born, when she was just born, I hear the sentence out his mouth. My oldest, so my second husband, I hear, "I don't want her to do something just because she's told to. I want her to do it, where she can think about it and think for herself." Toddler years, sit your butt down. Looking at me, "Could you help me? She's not sitting down." It's because we taught her, basically from infancy. "Could you sit down, please?" Boom. She just sat down. I'm like, girl, you want to sit there and tell her to do something, just told to do something. She's not going to do it. Americans are not going to. That's the way the Americans think. Of all of our pros and cons of the American way, we're not going to do it just because we're told to. Defiance. I mean, I've watched the show Defiance. It was pretty good. But I didn't watch it all the way through after. Did they get another season? I don't know. But to be able to think for yourself is important and vitally essential. Yes. The French is my my partner, lifetime partner, forever partner. I told him he's my forever partner. No matter what our relationship is, he's my forever partner. Commit yourself to such things. You have to be ready to and willing to commit to these things. He tells me about the fringe. So, the fringe of everybody thinking for themselves, no matter what form of government you have, would be those who, I'm sure a lot of autistic people can think for themselves, but for those who are disabled in the ways of thinking for themselves, and the ones who just drank too much Kool-Aid, or the other people who drank we've been putting too much fluoride in the water and now your teeth are stained, and wonder why Hitler did that, why Hitler kept giving people so much fluoride in there, just so much fluoride. Like, we are brainwashed. Like, you would think from the history of other countries that they make you study in the school. And I'm like, I kind of skimmed through all that stuff because the most frustrating part is learning history is now they've got it. So, of course, now I've been trying to study, but they've got, yeah. Okay, so if we think ancient times in Rome, certain pick a, 956 BC or something. What was it like in nowadays China back then? I mean, what we now call China? What was going on there compared to Rome, compared to India? Because India is going through a whole different phase. I mean, was there in Australia? You got to think these Aborigines sitting there just kicking and doing, fantastic. How was their ecosystem? How was their economics? They've got like thousands of years, the Aborigines. And, so I don't, you got to think, when I sat there and I thought, this is what this country is like, but it was just this country, and then confused me. So they talked about 950 something in China. You got this whole other world. I'm like confused. I thought it was like this, or I thought it was like that. It's an example. It's not historically accurate. It's not even a real example. It's not even, this is what's written in the history books. So you got all these things. I'm sitting there now there's a map that'll show you, okay, so here's a timeline, touch the timeline. This is what the world was like. And then you can see the whole atlas. I think it's the inaccurately proportioned atlas, of what it was like at this particular time frame in human civilization. That's the fascinating part. I am going to look up that time map. Don't I have I do. Okay, so for Sunday, is that it? Sunday. Okay. So for Sundays, I think we're gonna look at posting. I put in the descriptions time. I think it's some sort of time map site. I'm gonna find that, see if it's still up, and yeah, time map. Because that is a fascinating It really takes out all that confusion because the whole world, wasn't developed at the same time. Um, I had different technological marvels. I was watching, there was a program on Amazon, not a program, there was some kind of show on Amazon that was talking about modern marvels. If anybody's ever watched that off of Prime. And they were talking about different types of weapons, like the catapult was the Roman catapult, extremely intricate and very, um, very technical marvel. And then, like 200 years later, they were using a more primitive, like slingshot, giant slingshot thing. I'm like, how do you lose? I mean, not only do you fall the empire, but how does an empire lose? I mean, how do we not? How do we go back in time? It's like post-Christian versus pre-Christian eras. I mean, we had women warrior chieftains, we had women, leaders, and then all of a sudden, post-Christian, no women. Listen, 400 years later, okay, let's talk about women prime ministers or women in leadership roles. And the fight for it. So, I mean, to lose something for like 400 years or 600 years. How far we have to go and come back, and then there's other people who are living in the 1950s, and their calendar says 2020, and now our calendars say 2021. Like, yeah, it's got its pros and its cons. It's got to have its pros and its cons. So we will look at time map on Sunday. Okay. And you guys still want the tarot cards, go ahead and comment or hit a thumbs up if you guys want more tarot. So we'll do tarot. I'm going to do a tarot one tomorrow for Sunday. Card reading. I like doing those. So if you have any questions for a tarot card, it'll be free. One question, one card, just to get me going, get me familiar. Yeah, I don't think I spoke like, this is for free. Ask your question. You'll get a one card reading. I think I was like, no, talked about my website. Then I couldn't figure out how to put up my website. I think it's like, oh, it's going to cost something. But yeah. So let's see. What else can we? Yeah, we'll talk about time now. Anybody else heard about corona vaccines? Corona vaccines right now, we're not getting as many as we thought there would be by now, or that would have been promised us by now, which makes sense because of how long it takes to create a vaccine, how much time it takes to test the vaccine, how much time that, there are, people think that things are readily available and they're not. So isolation, how long? I don't know what you think about isolation and the masks and all these things that are probably a norm in Japan, where they've gone through and treated their pandemics differently before, their past pandemics differently before, versus the way we treat our pandemic. And we should just be like, we're waiting for this to be over. We're waiting for this to be over. Realistic timeline of when and how this should be over. If a pandemic hits about every 10 years, I mean, widespread around the world, same strand of disease that can wipe us out, just schematically, just wipe us out from not immediate, That's wrong. I'm not scripted today. I'll put a script for Sunday. I'll write a script. I yeah, but yeah, I want to be more scripted. Or outline, script outline. Just put an outline. That way, okay, so there'll be more of a script outline Sunday. That's a goal. All right. Yeah, current events. Events. Yeah, so pandemic wise, if it should just be a norm for us to just wear masks if you don't feel good after the pandemic is gone, and just to adapt some of these ways of like home work, remote working, especially with technology. Um, I'm thinking about stuff a lot. So you're probably, yeah. So just washing your hands should be a normal thing. But we've been washing our hands since what, the Spanish flu? Since before the Spanish flu. We've been preaching wash your hands. It's just been a widespread wash your hands. Why do we wash our hands? Why do we not touch our face, sit there and go, you know, like I'll watch my kids do. It's just a very human thing just to like, so you have to teach kids from a very early age. Wash your hands. Don't do that. Do a napkin or tissue. Use a tissue. Wash your hands after. Spread the pandemic. And I mean, these kind of things were just our norm. How to take care of yourself. How to, like they were just. It was just watching something like, oh, if it's, you should go out if you have a cold. You should stay in if you have a cold. Or you're still contagious. Um, Economically, nobody can afford to take off. I don't know how many weeks it is during a normal flu, cold season, if they're sick. That didn't help when the pandemic came. So right now, we would have to change things economically. We have a water crisis ahead of us. I mean, and they're looking at maybe 1 million people being poor in the coming years. So I watched the gold commercial. It's like, well, Germany had this happen, and the ones that invested in gold, made it through. I'm thinking those who invest in self-sustainability right now are the ones that are going to make it through. Ones that can afford to work from home. The ones who grow their gardens. The ones that collect properly rainwater. I don't just mean, oh, let's get a bucket and collect rainwater. That water needs to be circulated and not my eyes, but my cheeks here. Needs to be filtered so that you don't get bugs and everything in there. Because standing water is where the mosquitoes go, wee, let's have babies. Bye-bye. There's like rainwater babies where they're all like, larvae fest. So as much as people are like, it's illegal to grab rainwater, it should be illegal to be stupid about grabbing rainwater, y'all. Let me say it as if my mother was born in another state and moved here, raised me with a y'all accent. Yeah, it should be illegal to be stupid about being rainwater. So That would, with pros and cons, if anything, that would make it rainwater would be regulated, which would be stupid. I mean, it's from the sky. What can you regulate from the sky? The other option would be to mass produce education about gathering rainwater. So, a proper way to gather rainwater. The other thing is, if we're sitting here capturing the water, how much water is going back into the atmosphere? How much of that water is going back into the atmosphere so that it can come back down as rain? We got it all flowing through pipes. How much of it is going back into and how much of that percentage is gray water? What are we doing with our gray water? I mean, if you go to a campsite, you go and distribute that properly. But what are we doing with our gray water? I mean, there are people, I still see people who don't know any better. Pump it out. Like, that's the earth takes that in. And yeah, you don't want to just dump out your gray water. There should be like gray water. Just what would be a lovely norm instead of houses coming with, I mean, like if you go to the scratch point of building a house, the norms as in houses like all over the place, and this should be something that we should put in a gray water, not just septic, but like a gray water thing. And that would, because a lot of people flush stuff down the drain and expect the septic to take care of it or expect the city to clean that up. And like, so there, and I've seen some things that people are flushing down the drain. I'm like, how do you expect city water to clean that up with a little bit of chlorine, a whole bunch of filtration? And we wonder why we're eating plastic in half our food. What? Um, I don't know. Okay. So, I mean, there's smart ways to do this. So if we educate proper ways to catch rainwater, proper ways of using rainwater, and because and what we should use from the tap, and how much we should use from the tap. If everybody treated the tap like they're in an RV and they get so many gallons per day, we'd be less likely, you know, to be hit so hard by. I mean, the people that are in the desert probably know how more about this than I would ever know. You live it. You have the experience of, so much water per day, so much water, and people in an RV probably actually know. As I'm like, I want to live in an RV. As I realize how much water, I just took a hour-long shower. It was once, it was like I hadn't had a shower for so many days, but wash the kids, I'm like, no, no, no. I want like a 10-minute shower or less every, 10 minutes before I get into the water. Like not 10 minutes running the water, but a 10-minute shower from start to finish. You know, can I say, so much? Okay, definitely scripted. So there's less knows and less likes and less and less, yeah. Those are annoying when I watch other YouTubers do it. I don't want to do it. So I need to put a picture here. I'm like, let's put a picture here, make it all pretty, yeah? And put it in a frame to go with the chair that I've selected to bring down here. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about preserving water. I don't know if that'll be Sunday, but I definitely want to talk about videos on some sort of video, like preserving water. Because that would help your water bill. That would help septic bill that would help your, because some people don't pay water because they have um, not a pump. Well, they have well water. They have a pump in their well water. Yes, they have a pump. It's in their well. Um, Water pump. Yeah, but it's not called water pump. It's called a well water. But they may pay sewage because it goes down the drain where it's deposited. So we'll talk about gray water. So I'll look at gray water, and because if you learn more about your environment and you learn more about your water, like reserving water, like limited water. So, wow, let's shake the table. Yee. No, it's not an earthquake. Reserving water. Because I have to figure out how to do that. I mean, like, I sat there and watched myself do dishes once. I rinse. I use a lot of water with the rinsing more than I prefer, or the kids using it with me. I'm thinking by the time we get to the RV, I'll have taught them to use less water with dishes, or the lab kit. Especially with toddlers, it's great to use a little lab kit where they learn to pour. So when you turn around and they go, I can do it because I'm a big person, because we all have those feelings like I can do something. I've watched somebody do it a million times. I can do it. Where they go to do it themselves, you'll have less accidents. You'll have less to clean up. I've learned that with my youngest. It was amazing. I don't know if I put up a video of her doing lab work, but I mean, just different things that they could pour in with different tools, different cups, one into another cup, wide mouth, thin mouth, little droppers, little shot glasses, things their size too. They just sit there and pour in a big old, where you can do big old towel, big old, things to catch, to play, or different, even if it's not water, even if it's, see, what can you use that's safe for children that's a liquid that's safe for children? Water, or water in the bathtub. Yeah, she needs a lab at least once a day. I used to have these cute little I Can Do It bottles and take the old creamers, pour in the milk, and she can do like this. And we have those old pumps where they pump out and squirts the milk. But I haven't done that for her milk. But yeah, she pours out her soy milk or her almond milk. It's really cute. Let's see. What else can we talk about? So it is January. No, I'm not organized. No, nothing is done. Yes, I've gotten to spend time with my mom. Let's see. So these might be videos. I don't know how much is for Sunday. We've got time map where they've taken the whole map and they've organized timelines. Tomorrow we're going to do a tarot reading, talk about current events, proper way to gather rainwater. Yeah, so the best way I think that'll help us get ahead is self-sustainability. So just general self-sustainability. Self-sustainability. There's a way, because it seems expensive. When you first look at it, it's like it's expensive. But then I look at some stuff and I'm like, there's a super cheap, easy way to do all this. There has to be a super easy. I'm like, all these, hey, get these renewable, cute, adorable, Ziploc baggies. My dad's been putting things in leftover jars, like a leftover mayo jar or leftover salsa jar, and he just puts, he opens up something, he just puts it in there, and since I was a kid, it doesn't cost anything. You've already bought the product. So you don't have to go out and spend, I don't know how much it is for those bags. It's great. that you could do that. But if you're like super poor, I'm not going to go spend, so much money on those adorable reusable bags. If I can afford to buy them someday, I'll definitely buy them. But until then, I'm just going to use different containers I already have left over, which, they need to be labeled. If you can't see them, like the butter dishes, like I grew up with the butter dish roulette. You go in there and you don't know if it's leftovers from grandma or if it's butter. So like, I need the butter to butter my toast. No, that's three bean salad. Whoops. No, that's mashed potatoes. No. I had fun with it. I didn't. But my partner, he's like, it's a little frustrated. He'd like to just open it up and do it because he's got 101 other things to do. I don't blame him. It's a small frustration. It's like having the lids come at you when you open a door. Like, no, that can stop. I can do something about that. I can take 10 minutes like on the third Saturday of, the month or something and check it out and be done with it for, come up with cute, adorable hacks and cute, adorable things to make it easier, self-sustainable. I think that'll help, especially my current financial strive. Being self-sustainable is extremely important. I don't know what inspired me. We got that squash and late in the season, and I just went ahead and uh, threw the squash seeds in, paper towel and stuff, and just like grew them, and they're growing on our the squash is at the squash plant is growing. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was maybe peppers or something. So I have to figure out a big enough like container because I think it's a root system that goes out this way, not like a root vegetable or anything. I don't think it goes down. I think it just goes out. And I was going to give some to my friends, some off-season in-house that'll take over your home. Unless you're like one of those botanical, there's a cute, adorable botanical YouTuber that I like. I'm going to find her site. I like her, another YouTuber. She grows, like, watch her grow all these pretty plants in her home, and they're all over. And I don't know what her bill is with the light, with the pretty grow lights. Yeah. I watch a lot of hers, and for her it's easy because that's probably a focused priority in her life is growing plants. So self-sustainability. So one of the ways to be financially healthy and to be healthy, be physically healthy, and the mental health benefits that you reap when you garden your own stuff. Yeah, I'm going to look at gardening. I did not intend. So 2022, we're going to look at 2022. I'm going to look at greenhouses. We're going to have to look at various greenhouses. Eventually, in our house, we want to turn our current workshop into a greenhouse. Now, that'll be a lot of, greenhouses. So we'll have to look at cute, adorable little, doable, like square foot, gardening. Yeah, so that I can put that sucker outside. If anybody, I was going to say, my local friends, if any of my local friends or family are watching, they're like, yeah, all it takes is a big corn squash in my house and let it beautify my home. Send it to my kid. Be like, here, take this. In your hippie ways that we need trees. I doubt I don't know how much more oxygen it produces at night. So some plants actually produce beneficial amount of oxygen at night, like and then others, they don't. They don't sit there and eat all the they of all the plants that they naturally eat carbon dioxide and spit out, oxygen. Um, they at night, that's what trees do and stuff to help breathe better, to help purify the air, I guess, in a way. Um, I don't think squash is on a big oxygen producer, significant oxygen producer, squash plants, but that would be cute. Um, so it would be an interesting thing. We should do a video on that, on planting the squash and trying to replanting, because I got to get it out of the bowl. The yeah, north facing windows don't work. It's south facing, and I love how the other house, the south facing window is like this big, and your north facing windows are like, here, have a whole door. No, it was east or west facing, big old door. I'm like, oh. Yeah, so you get the light when it comes in the morning, but yeah, no, it's you get like south facing. You get like, no, there wasn't a window south facing. It was the garage. So you get like this fraction from a east or west window. Here, let's angle in about this much. It's a little frustrating. So having a greenhouse period, he's like, here, I will hook you up with a greenhouse when we're, in our plans for the future. Okay. So, and it's wooded. So a lot of wooded areas. But doesn't mean there aren't spots that get light. And I had my tree out there, my soap tree. I got a new soap tree. And I did not repot the soap tree. I got to figure out how to make like a little greenhouse around where I'm going to pot the soap tree until it can get big enough that it can try. How would you accumulate a soap tree to cold weather? I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try the soap tree again, soap nut tree again, because it's just the way I didn't repot it, and it needed its roots it has to have healthy roots in order to thrive. It's not a completely picky plant, but it is not completely difficult, but it is also a tropical plant, and it lives and dies by its roots. So learning, I like, nothing. I have like a black thumb. I got so frustrated by the little grade school experiments. I got so horrifiedly frustrated. It was when we put the plant in the cupboard to show that it needed sunlight. It did not teach me about plants. I'm like, yeah, it's not a hard concept to understand that plants need sunlight, they need water, they need, they may need soil. But the fun part that they don't teach kids by the time they're, that age, was like second grade, third, second, first, second, third grade, somewhere around there. Don't be, first grade, I think it was. Don't be teaching kids, oh, it needs that. Teach your kindergartners or your pre-fives, oh, we're going to use water. And instead of like killing your plant to show what it's like without it, show like this one needs, lots of sunlight. This one does okay in shaded, which one does better in the shaded, which one does better in the sunlight, because that's the kind of frustration that I have. Like I put a, I got hopeful. I had those little hopeful things throughout my childhood. I received a African violet, as a present. I put that sucker in the sunlight, and boom, I burnt that sucker. Made me feel like a horrible person because I was in a time when kids are certain ages where you get empathically, where we should learn that that's a stage, and like they're learning about feelings, their bodies learning about the feelings they're experiencing. We should not just go, oh yeah, that's okay. No, not like, well, that really hit you hard. Okay, here's what we can do about it. This is what's going on with your body, or show some way. You don't have to sit there and talk, 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 talk. You can do actions. Speak louder than words. Like, okay, I understand, but here's, I'm like, yeah, that sucker. I'm like a little hole in the little petal of the sunburnt hole. So, like, I didn't have one of those green thumb people influencing my life. Would be nice. Be very nice to have had one of those people, and most of those people are like a nice hour away. And yeah, the other people that I've known with it, they're close by. Their plants kind of hang by a thread if they don't have an everyday. They're one of those creative licenses where they don't have an everyday thing. And I'm thinking, well, I know I have problems watering every day or doing something every day. Then I have cats that make sure I do the kitty litter every day. But I mean, the plants and stuff, forget the plants. There's ways to do those bulbs, like to take a bottle, you like a beer bottle or something, just turn it up, fill it with water, turn it upside down, pop that in there so that it feeds the soil. And I don't know how that would go with some plants like lots of like damp water. Some plants don't. Like the self-watering bulbs, those I should get those, and there's other ways to water your plants. There has to be. I mean, for people like me, there's creative ways to keep watering your plants. So we'll just look at ways of self-watering, plants. Ways, watering plants, and ways to set reminders so that attention deficit people can live independently. I mean, I still, I don't remember where I heard the story. Conceptually, there was a story about a woman who ran herself into the hospital being her partner's secretary, reminding him, sending him reminders like his mother. And I'm like, that's kind of insulting. She loved him so much. She reminded him to do everything every day because he would forget. She ran herself to the hospital. As enduring that as that is, it's also like not an insanity that I can take on. I wouldn't want anybody sitting there like cuddling me, telling me, "Did you do this? Did you wash your hair? Did you brush your teeth? Did you?" I'm like, shove it. I'm like, I enjoy my independence. So there has to be a way to get reminders. Like, I want one of those watches, like for the kids. They'll sit there and it'll go off and there'll be this cute, adorable little picture that shows brush teeth, eat dinner, wash hands. You can set whatever reminder you want and cute little pictures. I would do that. I can't take the watch, but you could set your phone. So let's talk about attention deficit disorder reminders now so that we can be more independent, because that's enduring, but I'm saying more independent. Independent. I'm gonna look that word up. Squigglies will help me learn how to spell a word. Independent. Independent. Pendant. 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 I love accents. All right, it is 7:50, so we got about 10 minutes. I'm going to get off at 8 and get my stuff going. I'm going to go and shoot for an hour of like non-talk. All right, so Sunday. what are we definitely doing Sunday? So Sunday, I'm going to have a script outline. I'm going to talk about time maps, do a tarot reading, current events, and then what should we talk about? How about what overwhelming task I'm tackling that day? All right, since my mom is having a good day, I definitely, definitely want to take advantage of that when she gets back up and let the kids, say hi. Yeah. But yeah, overwhelming tasks tackling that day. We're going to start a way of like self-care. So you'll get those self-care that week. What might be a week of self-care. Okay. And then paperwork, meals or menus. Like things that'll be routine, self-care, tackling that day, creating routines so that I can tackle, like if I take care of some of these things that should be routinely done, that'll make it so much easier to tackle an actual situation. Making like tackling everyday issues smaller, just so that everyday tasks into a smaller, more manageable, and more, normal thing. Okay. Okay. Wrote in the notebook. Let's see. But yeah. So guys, if there's anything you want me to talk about or to do a video on, go ahead and comment. I'll try to get you guys more cleaning videos, and I'll try to get that cookie thing before next week, the cookie recipe, or the cookie video. I've already talked about the cookie recipe, chocolate chip cookies. I don't think they didn't turn out my preference. But I ended up, I like them soft and chewy, but that's not what I did. Yeah, cooking and stuff. And then we also have to go over menus. Yeah. Sounds like fun. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not a bad thing. Usually when I just wing it, I get the best results. I have no idea if the mic is working rather well. So if you're having trouble with the mic this whole time, like 49 minutes into something, just let me know. Yeah. We're starting back on the virtual school Monday. I don't know how many how many of you guys have that? How many, second grader parents out there dealing with that? So I think I might be figuring out the best way to be involved. more involved with that in a way, more involved with work too. So yeah, get her video going. Her videos going. She's telling all her friends about it. Her one video on her channel. So I'm thinking we should get another video on there towards a new laptop so she can do more than play video games. Or play video games. Yeah. So it's still exciting. We're still going on the hotel trip. That's an exciting thing. I feeling less and less prepared for it as, we're doing that next week. 1 week. It's good. I know we can do it. It's not so much fear as it is the unknowing. So I want to prepare myself and the kids as much as possible. I think this week it's very important to get outside the freezing tundra as much as possible. It's like yesterday it was below freezing. I was like, it's 30 degrees out. That's Fahrenheit. That's below freezing. That's it's below 0 degrees Celsius. There's a freezing point Celsius 0 and boiling point 100 in Celsius. I want to learn. I want that to be a norm for me to learn because everybody else except the United States uses all those other systems of measurement. Kilometers versus miles, milliliters instead of ounces. So yeah, we should just normalize. I'm like, we drive on the right. The rest of the world drives on the left side of the world. Or the left side of the road, we drive on what's left. You would think with the amount of tax dollars, maybe if our politicians didn't get or took some of that money that they make from the what do you call it when big oil companies or big with drug companies will sit there and pay them money that they're not supposed to take with briberies. Maybe if they paid some of that towards our roads, we'd have the best roads in the entire world. I bet you if we took one politician's salary plus what they make on the side, that they're not supposed to make, is just pick one. I bet you we could fix all the roads. And that's not even, I mean, that's a thing. It's definitely an issue, but that's not the biggest issue. Dealing with political issues, dealing with our country. And talk about health care. If we took a single politician, purged all their money, and put it towards health care, like a single state, I'm pretty sure, people in a single state of our single state would probably be like, everybody's covered with healthcare. So, should it be that way? No. What should we do? So we should definitely learn self-sustainability. That's going to be a very big thing for the upcoming economy crisis. So far, with the pandemic, with some of the businesses closing, and my business having trouble, the hunch I have to get over, the hump that I have to get over is shipping. I don't want to charge people shipping. I physically can't cover. There isn't money to cover shipping. So I can't just offer, order this much and we'll cover your shipping. Yeah. So I can't do that right now. I would love to. That would, had a lot of promotions. That in itself would get me promoted, I'm pretty sure, to everybody out there and to ship outside the US. I can't do that right now. Yeah, like if you buy a quilt, I can't ship it right now. If you buy a cat scratch box, I can't ship it right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Like how to ship, so all those people that have pizza boxes, we've made a couple cat scratch boxes. Those people, there's quilts, there's the drawstring bags, there's the, I love the drawstring bags. My partner sold it at work as glass cases. It works. There's, because he's the partner in the business too. So there's, what else did we make? There's so many things I can make and just sit there and do. Look at, thinking about looking at 2022 and doing art and crafts booths, get promoted that way locally so I don't have to deal with shipping. If there'll be booths in arts and crafts, there should be. Out of that, local garage sales and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Figure it out. We'll get I just have to figure out how to get lots of revenue. Lots of like income revenue, even if it's more than one. Yeah. Trying to think. I think that covered, yeah. So Sunday, tomorrow, we'll do um, tarot reading. We'll do, one card. So have your questions ready for tomorrow, Sunday. So it'll be 7 a.m. my time. My time doesn't make any sense. Are we Eastern? I think we're Eastern. Tell me I'm Eastern. Yeah, so Eastern time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. All right. Then 6 on Monday Eastern time. Yeah, we're Eastern. I'm just gonna say we're Eastern time. All right, and then we'll do current events. And we'll talk about time map. I'll see if I can find the website. And I'll have an outline script. Yeah, comments. I don't know. There should be comments someplace. I don't know if I have my live comments or something. Community guidelines. By our community guidelines. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yep, everybody's included. Doesn't matter who or what you are. You're awesome. We love you. Yeah. Getting ready to sign off. We're at 8. We're at 58. 58 minutes and a half. Coffee. I still have coffee in here. So building a healthier life. Really, what I really want for the channel. Yeah. Trying to fill in that. They're like, you need hours of watch time and so many subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you know when I randomly come on live, because it's easier to hit live than it does to go and load up a video, because I don't know what I'm yet doing with all that. I have to sit down, look at it, try some experiments, because when I do it, things go boink, and it's like, worst is when I follow directions and nothing works. Just, it would be nice. I think I'm going to put a spell out there. The the amount of effort I put in, I should receive the amount of I should be able to reap the what I put in. I should reap what I put in. Because right now, I get so frustrated with I put in this much work and I get out less than an ounce of boot milk. Not now, but I mean, like when my kids were breastfeeding and I was sitting there trying to pump, 4 hours later, you have less than an ounce of breast milk and your baby is starving and they're. That is something mothers go through and you don't really want to know. That is what my life has been like. Like, my ex got pissed off and he tore off the mural that I was experimenting with on our wall. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about my life. And it's not like I don't get mad. I get really mad. Um, and do things that are crazy. And I should quit doing that. I should quit reacting like that to being pissed off. I mean, we all have anger. We all have things we don't understand. We all have things that, you know, but the fight versus the following a flow. This whole time you fight something, fight something, fight something. To me, I know that there's got to be like if you follow current takes the easiest path. And it's not the lazy, but the most efficient path is not to fight things, but to seek out a new perspective and a new way of doing things. Like, so if you follow flow, if you follow currents in life, you're looking, I don't really want to fight. So it's not always conflict. And, anchor is like take a moment, take a breath, take a real look at it. But that is like more than all the time we have today. So bye. Love you, love you, love you, la 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 la. Love you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you so much for watching and joining me. Tell all your friends. Hit the subscribe button. Make make it a norm that people should not be chastised for being insane. If I'm not hurting somebody, I'm not hurting myself. It shouldn't be such a horrible thing, Yeah. They're like, let's end this on crazy. But the thing is, did I end on my crazy or somebody else's crazy? Crazy good or crazy bad?